Hey everybody, working on the curved tri-tail tuner today. As you can see, the new body for this guitar is out of the paint shop and ready to go. Might be a little dusty, it's been sitting up there for a day or two. But yeah, it's all done and ready to go. And so the next step is I need to take this thing apart because there's still basically the sway bar and the thumb screw that need to go into the paint shop. So that's the next step. Guess we can start by taking that off. Taking this off. Well, the glue came loose. That'll have to be fixed first. Still a pretty tight fit. Just go ahead and take care of this right quick. That's that part. Top of that screw could use some touch up. Probably should let that glue dry before I try to touch up the paint on the screw. Had an idea for an improvement. Just looking at this thing here. String ferrules. Yeah, I know it doesn't need them, but I've been thinking about what I would do if I was going to build something like one of these experimental guitars for public consumption, shall we say. And all right, well, here's a good example. This one has a lock nut, okay, and it's also got the thumb screws, which is nice. This is really technically the just bling. It doesn't need this. A regular nut works just fine. One step up from a regular nut is like a brass nut. So I was thinking a brass nut might be nice because then you don't have to fiddle with locks, which are really not needed on this kind of design. And yeah, but it's still nicer than just, the stock nut that comes on these necks. So yeah, I got more or less all the hardware figured out for what that kind of a guitar would look like. It's more or less an X6. And the biggest thing is trying to decide what color to make it. But anyway, let's see what's next on this thing. Well, I guess while this glue is drying, actually that glue looks pretty dry. All right, I'm gonna go get the gold paint It's a little tricky. This stuff is kind of runny. And I've already gotten some on the wood. Cool. Real good. Real good. Oh, hell, it's not coming off. Okay. Time to test my luthery skills here. Let me try a blade. Be right back. So, they say that the mark of a good luthier is knowing how to fix a mistake. I suppose the mark of a really good luthier is both knowing how to fix the mistake and not making it in the first place, probably. Let's see here. X-ray specs. I think these are like 1.4 times magnification. It's just on the camera. Is this going to work? Doesn't really look like it. Oh, wait. Question is, can I do it without it becoming like unstained wood? I can always hit it with a little dye. Just a micro drop. That might be enough. This whole thing could probably use a little sanding back. Yeah, this seems to be working. Okay. Yeah, probably good enough for government work. It's got some purple in it. Guess it wouldn't hurt to sand it back a little bit. Yeah, that is lightening it up. I think. Carry a little bit of that darkness there. Don't want it to get too late. Alright, that'll do for sure. It's trying to become violet. Just hit this side right quick, this side right quick. Alright, so we got that, and that. And that. Looks good. Alright, sweet. Ready for clear coat. That might still be a little dark in the middle. Lightened up them a little bit. Since it's plywood and they send the plies cross-hatch from one veneer to the next, one's going to be in grain and then one's not. So obviously the in grain's going to be dark and the stuff that isn't in grain won't be. So it's not like it's going to be even or anything. Just trying to lighten it up a little bit here. The linseed oil, which is what this was originally finished with, tends to darken stuff in general a little bit. One interesting thing I found is that it seems to make an excellent sealer for sanding sealer for acrylic. I'm getting really good results with linseed, sandback, and then acrylic. And not a lot of, it's just like one coat of acrylic kind of stuff. But anyway, okay, that's ready to go. This thing, I should probably sand it back a little bit too. It still has bad marks from where it used to be glued on back when it was a twin V type design on this guitar. Yeah, I'm going to sit down, watch some TV, and sand this back a little bit. I'll be back. Okay, got the bar sanded back here. I had a little cut through, just a little bit, not anything like what you see here. And I was like, well, shoot, if I've got I figured I'd have to hit it up with a little bit of light purple in order to fix that. And I was like, well, if I'm going to do that, then let me go ahead and sand down the whole thing in preparation for hitting it with a coat of light purple. So that's going to be the next step. Let me clear off the bench here and have at it. Ooh. Yeah, that glue stuff still isn't taking stain. It's okay, it's on the back side. Probably no harm in putting this stuff on heavy. It's an awfully light shade. It's more or less lavender. I don't remember what I originally mixed it up for. Trying to do something, and it was probably a mix that didn't come out right. Oh no, I was fixing cut through and trying to not get the rest too dark. Kind of like what I'm doing here. Alright. That'll look a lot better. It won't look nearly as dark once it dries. But that should do it. Give everything a bit more of a purple tint. Off to the drying cam. And there you go. The drying cam. Alright, let's skip ahead a little bit. Fresh can, high flow, only takes a second or two. And I'm holding it way back, like 2+ feet. Man, it really seems a shame to have to take this thing apart, but the action is high, so the proper way to fix it is to take it apart and replace the body. Well, it'll be even better when it's done, right? A guitar is a pile of parts, and you can almost always do something, well, not always, but you can often do something to improve that pile of parts and thereby improve the guitar overall. These are really cool. I'm not sure if it'll work on a regular Floyd Rose bridge though. You might not be able to twist them tight enough. I remember I was having a debate about that on projectguitar.com, and later I saw a video about Floyd Rose bridges, and what I thought at the time was pretty convincing evidence that this little idea I had doesn't work. Turns out, might not have been accurate. But anyway, there's one string. Yeah, you get the idea. I'm not going to film it. A little sprout. Guess I'm putting the whammy on this one too. Hemispherical fret ends, anyone? Yeah, so we're going to rebuild it, man. Make it better than it was. Better, stronger, faster. Hemispherical fret ends. Acrylic finish, clear coat. Maybe sand back the fretboard so it's lighter. You can actually see the grain. If these holes were not so close to the edge, I just punched up, and for like $9 you can get a set of 6 ferrules in any color you want, black, gold, or silver, for string ferrules, like string through. And yeah, I was thinking that might be a nice touch for these types of builds, but yeah, these holes are a little on the close to the edge side for that, probably, so I guess no ferrules on this one. God's in the details. It was originally a blue neck. Light won't even get in there, but yeah, it was originally a blue neck, and the inside of the truss rod cavity here is still blue, so that could use some flat black. And let's see what else we got. I wasn't really impressed with those neck screws that came out of this thing. Maybe fill these and then switch over to the drywall types. They look a little nicer from the outside, and they definitely work better than those fat shank things. Neck itself, maybe a little sanding down, lighten it up a little bit. This one might have been, originally was supposed to be a faded kind of a thing maybe though. Yeah, actually it was, as I recall. It had V-bars, and it had fade on all 3. It had fade on the neck, and it had fade on each of the bars, but I don't know. The unevenness kind of ruins the fade effect, so maybe I'll sand back these bits a little bit more in order to lighten it up. And what else could this thing use? I think that might do it for the neck, and the neck will be ready to go. And the body's going to need drilling and stuff. So, yeah. It'll be a little bit of work ahead, but should be worth it. Now, let's see where to start. Probably do the fret ends before sanding the fretboard. And obviously do all that stuff after lacquering it, I guess. So lacquer it, and then do the fret ends, and then sand the fretboard. Yeah, I think that's going to be the battle plan. And then when installation time comes, then I can deal with that. Probably be a smart idea, the first thing, put some new neck screws into the paint shop. Actually, it's going to need to be sanded back before I clear coat it, so yeah. Neck screws into the paint shop, and then some sanding back and some clear coat. Sand back, mask, and clear coat. I don't want to lacquer this board, I don't think. It's not already lacquered, so. Yeah, I know, I hold it up so you can see it, and all you get is a flash of gold. See if we can sneak up on it here. How's that? Wish this thing would focus when it's close. So as you can see here, we actually got a number of parts over in the drawing cam. There's the screws that I just shot. And of course, our bar up here. So yeah, bar, screws, more screws, thumb screws. This is both for this build and for the curved try, so. Okay, got a bit of 240 here. And we've got a part of the heel here where it's not going to be seen. So we can do a test, see if this is like the right grit or way that we need to go. Coarser or finer. Actually, this is looking pretty good. We're getting good results quickly without it, like, you know, cutting through in just a couple. And if I went like that and it cut through, I'm definitely using too coarse. If I do like that for half an hour and it's still all purple, you know, or practically black, then I'm way too fine. Or if it clogs up immediately, I'm way too fine. This seems to be just about right, so you can just kind of go in like this and lighten stuff up. That kind of an idea. Alright, so let me hit right in here a little bit. Not too much. Of course, I can always hit it with that light purple if I have to. That's probably good enough. Over here a little bit. Got to be careful that you don't turn it all pink. On the other hand, I've gotten some very interesting results in what's essentially a pink and purple kind of an effect. You'd never think that pink could look cool, but actually I always thought something in a flat black with like a pink racing stripe might be neat too. Or an aqua racing stripe. Alright, I'll put this in. A little bit off the spine. Just a little bit. A little bit up here at the top of the neck. It's a little thicker there. And this side, this is the part above the scarf joint. When they flip around the wood, sometimes, because of the difference in the direction of the grain, they don't take the stain as evenly. See how this whole section became dark purple and this whole section in here is lighter purple. And just kind of hit up in there a little bit. That's probably okay. And the back of the headstock. There we go, starting to get some purple. Definitely getting some purple there. Yeah, there we go. It's a little better. Where else does it look kind of dark? It looks kind of dark in here. Front of the headstock. Not too much. It's a little better. I'm afraid of going too far, so. Okay, shoulders of the headstock. This is ingrained stuff. It'd take forever to sand this out. Maybe I should just leave it dark. Yeah, that's going to take probably forever. So any of this still in camera? Yeah, cool. All still in frame. I think I'm getting better. It's much easier when I've got the camera pulled farther away. You can't see close-up detail, but at least it's in frame. Alright, that's good enough, probably. And last but not least, got to get the ends more ingrained, so don't expect a whole lot out of this. Maybe I should switch down to 60 grit. A little purpler. I'll keep at it here for a second. A little purpler. Not a lot, but a little. I guess it'll do. It's in grain. How about this end? That's not too bad. Doesn't really need much of anything. Get it right up there by the fretboard a bit. Down here at the bottom of the heel a bit, maybe. Once again, I don't want to go too far. That's trying to cut through there almost. Right there. That one little line. I think we can live with that one. Now the rest of it's cut through. I'm going to stop now before I fuck it up. Pardon my French. Now the other option is to sand it all back just a little bit lightly to take off any linseed that might interfere, and then hit it up with the light purple. But I don't know. This is probably okay. Even the lightest portions of the part that hasn't been sanded in the fade, they still have a little bit of a purple or reddish tint to them, so I think it'll be okay. Definitely going to be a model looking thing, but better than boring and plain, right? Now comes the fun part. I gotta come in with the razor blade, I gotta trim it, I gotta make sure that all of the neck wood, that none of the neck wood is covered by tape, and there's only tape over the side of the fingerboard. I don't have to go exactly to the line because I can always scrape the edge of the fingerboard later, but I do have to make sure that there's no tape covering the neck or else it won't get clear coat. So time for some delicate cutting with a razor blade, basically. See how well I did here. Oh yeah, just like that. Where are we at here? Yeah, just like that. There you go. Now you can see the purple versus the brown versus the blue. That's what you want. You want blue over the top of the edge here. That way you won't get clear coat onto the top of it. But it's not all the way down to the bottom edge between the purple and the brown. So you're guaranteed that you're going to get clear coat on your neck. The downside is you got to scrape it when you're done. But yeah, just like that. My first try for the finish on the Cowboys guitar, I didn't know the scraping trick, and I tried so many times to tape this off perfectly and not get seepage and stuff. And eventually I had to give up on that finish. Alright, well he saw me do one side, so I'll do the other side, and then it's time to squirt, I think. This is my teddy bear here. This is Blackie. He's my #1 son. He's the Lion King. For some reason he decided he was going to come and hang out with Dad. Okay, got it all masked off. Got a nice line going all the way down. Got the end covered all the way down the other side. Got the nut all masked off. It's ready to squirt. Pretty, huh? So there's to it. I think it's going to look okay. And now a word from our sponsor. Today's episode is brought to you by the Drying Cam. Guaranteed to have no effect on the drying time of your finishes. Speaking of finishes, I actually found a new kind today. It's Solarez. I can't believe it's not lacquer wipe on or brush on. And the stuff is basically kind of like poly, but it's UV activated for drying and will cure in like 1 to 5 minutes in sunlight. And so, yeah, oh my god. And it's not that expensive. You can get like, you get like a quart for like 35 or 40 bucks. And I think it's on Amazon. And it's the equivalent of like a gallon of poly. And yeah, great setup time. But the downside apparently is that like poly, it layers. It doesn't melt together the way that lacquer does. Acrylic's the same way. Acrylic technically layers too, but as long as it goes on so thin you can't really tell. And it's not like poly where you can sand through a layer and then actually see where you start cutting into the next layer. So yeah, it's more forgiving in that respect. And also you got to put on like, twice as many coats of acrylic in order to get the same build level as with poly. So, but anyway, yeah, it's another new solution if you aren't into drying cams. Well, we definitely got an episode here's worth of footage, so that thing's in the paint shop, and that's probably a good spot to stop for the moment. Once the neck comes out of the paint shop, then I can finish doing the prep work on the neck. I suppose while I'm waiting, I can start work on the body and take this thing apart, but that'll be the next episode. Until then, everybody, have a good one.